So Marauders November update just went live, and it's called the Health Patch, and they just posted the patch notes as well. So I wanted to go through them quickly and highlight some of the key points. There'll be a link in the description down below if you want to go and read the entirety of the patch notes for yourselves. So, new Webley Pistol got added, EM2 Battle Rifle, a locked depot for the Navy Outpost, also a locked depot for Penal Colony, Sten attachments, so muzzle brake, drum mag, and wooden stock, additional daily contracts bringing total to 42. Curious to see whether some of those daily contracts will bring you to the Penal Colony or the Navy Outpost. Single loot spawners have had their physics disabled to prevent loot penetration, collision / spawning outside of the play area, so certain items like on the Merchant Frigate comes to mind. There is a spawn for a handgun in the customs office that you can't really actually pick up, so I would imagine this is what that's going to fix. They added map cycling to prevent too much map repetition, which is great. No more Navy Outpost 13 times in a row. Players now receive a Marauder kill for destroying a breacher pod, which is awesome because you could kill breaching pods, but you wouldn't actually get the kill credited to you, so now that should be a thing. Intro movie can be disabled with Steam launch option command, no startup movies, so no more for 70 years. So you can just skip that now. You can now adjust the FOV slider from 80 to 100. You can now have lean set to toggle, so that was a very requested feature. Air control. Most weapons now have a larger spread and recoil whilst jumping. Some weapons have their spread only increased a little where it makes sense. Example, the Viper MK1 shotguns and pistols. So this is, I think, specifically targeting the jump shots that were far too accurate. That could be argued, but I digress. Navy commandos and their major can spawn in any raid location except for the Navy Outpost. So that is interesting. Gonna make getting the 10 commando majors a little bit easier to kill than always having to go to the capital frigate. Now, crews are automatically locked, but you can set it to be unlocked via the creation of the crew. A siren alarm can now be heard when a breach occurs inside a ship, which is great because if you're not in the captain's seat, you don't get any notification of a breach. Reinforced anti-cheat. So moving on to what they call art. So that was all the new stuff. Now we're moving on to art. Color, reflections, and lighting pass on Asteroid Mine. Sten weapon model and textures. So from what I know, they have been it has been remodeled and retextured. Redistributed airlock positions on Asteroid Mine. So that's interesting. Color and reflections pass on Merchant Ship. STG-44 rifle now has a front post. So foresight, which is absolutely fantastic. That was probably one of the only gripes I had with that weapon. And they improved the Kraza's muzzle flash effects. For balancing now, there is a laundry list of balancing here. I'm going to go through most of it because a lot of this stuff is very interesting. But if you want to go and read it for yourselves, again, link in the description. So Capital Ship and Merchant Ship have had their spawn chance increased by 30%. The headshot damage multiplier is now 3 rather than 3.5x. So I just made a video talking about armor and what guns can one-shot headshot kill. I think I'm gonna have to redo an update now. Airlock redistribution in Asteroid Mine, 6 airlocks in Terraformer, 6 airlocks in Navy Outpost, 5 in Prison, and 5 in Spaceport. The airlock now has more accurate collisions, so props, etc. Sten Suppressor now requires fabric alongside metal scrap. Sten Suppressors does 2 extra damage instead of 1. Large first aid kit's healing amount has been increased by 35%, so that is a massive jump. Lower tier recipes have had their crafting timers greatly reduced, which is awesome. All armor and helmets, except the Ledger Jerkin, civilian helmet, and pouch rig, have been buffed by 20% protection. Heavy caliber weapon damage has been increased by around 15%, except the SVT-40, Johnson, and the Mosin pistol, which have had their damage reduced. So interesting balancing changes here. Top brass mission requirements is now 8 instead of 10. So just as a reminder, the top brass mission is killing commando majors. So it used to be 10, now it's going to be 8. Become Infamous mission has been rebalanced to include more targets. So I think that might be a mission after the one I'm at, which requires you to get, I think, 50 kills with the heavy MG42, or one of the last ones, which is get 100 kills with flamethrower. So you now have more targets included in that mission's parameters. The M45K is the only SMG to receive a damage buff. Curious to see how much. Compact containers are now only 3x3 cells. Storage capacity remains the same. They used to be 4x4, so massive gain in stash space here. Industrial locked loot bins in Navy Outpost and Penal Colony, so those bins that are like blue and yellow that you can unlock, and there's often like crafting mats and blowtorches in there. Clob is now a burst-only weapon, and it has a 24 round capacity. so that's interesting. The jump turn rate is now 40% down from 50. The durability of SMGs has been lowered. Most weapons have had their credit value increased by 15 to 35%. Well rod damage is down to 36 from 40, so that is going to have a massive impact on how capable the well rod is of one-shot headshotting people, especially with the 3x damage modifier now for headshots as opposed to 3.5. All SMGs have had their recoil slightly increased. Uzi suppressor now requires a tools kit instead of metal scrap. 9mm ammo and Luger replaced with the Webley revolver in the Pirate Factions Trader. That is awesome. Suppressors and stocks no longer available in the Trader have been moved to crafting unlocks. So interesting. EM2 and Sten drum mag can now be looted from the Kingdom Alliance supply drop. Radio backpacks is now 6x6 storage capacity. Reduced recoil on the M50 rifle, which is great because that thing was, oh my god, there was so much recoil on that. Shotguns now have a large increase in spread over distance, the Terminator and Trench having a tighter spread, Liberator and Jackhammer having a medium spread, and the Double Barrel has a larger spread, which is normal because it's sawed off. Reduced the length of certain actions on AI squads, SAS, and commandos to prevent them looking frozen when failing to complete/reach them. So I would imagine that's when they're trying to like push when their rest of their squad is getting attacked. Not quite sure here. Panzer removed from the Central Empire shop. Now it's higher tier armor and replaced with plate armor, so medium tier armor. Pirate Trader's supply drop has been added to the Vault loot pool and removed from the faction shop. It has been replaced with the machete. Damn it, I won't be able to gamble away my money anymore. Moving on to the UI. So the Discord button is now on the main menu screen. Removed band appeal option from the main menu ticketing menu. Moved to elsewhere in the UI. They changed the guide info to say you prestige at level 50 to match the actual in-game level you need to hit. Moved report button next to the player who killed you name in the end screen to make it more obvious. They added toggle lane. We talked about that. In the main menu, you can now use escape key to quickly close the following menus, so leaderboard, support ticket, guide, ship management, daily contracts. They added a Marauder specific kill death ratio to the stats menu, so now you'll have your overall kill death ratio and a kill death ratio specific to Marauders. They also added a new can't enter raid area as pod warning pop-up if you try to use a raid entrance as a pod. And then there's various amounts of fixes to animations, sound, optimization, and a bunch of other ones. I'll just highlight a couple here. So specifically, miscellaneous crashes, various duplication issues, various exploit issues, various raid collision issues, and various crew issues, a lot of which most of the player base had been experiencing. A lot of them have been addressed and or fixed with the health patch, so that is great. And also, last thing before we end off the video here, at the bottom of the patch notes, they're talking about the December update, codename Ace, and there's a little teaser. I'll leave a link to it in the description down below if you want to go and watch it. There's not a whole lot of information in there. It's really just like a 20-second teaser, but curious to see what we will get in the December update. But anyways, that is it for the patch notes. Now it's time for me to jump into the game, try out the new Webley, try out the new EM2, and see all the changes that they made to Marauders. Let me know what you're most excited for in the comment section down below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a good one.